anguished mother or artful murderer? Two youngsters are missing, and to effect their rescue, Jill Clayburgh must confront a terrifying secret from her past. Where are the children? Next.
To the spirit of independence, the joy of expression, and the pursuit of excellence, HBO salutes the 1987 ACE Awards nominees. Celebrate with us the very best of 1987, the 9th Annual ACE Awards for Cable Excellence. Tomorrow, live at 9 Eastern Time on HBO.
It's the championship game for HBO's California Bulls, but
some people are saying the Bulls may be jinxed.
Meanwhile, TD stands accused.
This is outrageous.
Thought you really did scout those tickets.
And Yanessa stands alone.
His father died.
Is America's quarterback too grief-stricken to play this Sunday?
And will the Bulls, who've made it this far twice before, finally win the championship?
What do you think?
In the final episode of First and 10 Going for Broke, premiering Wednesday on HBO.
It was a magical night in Brazil when Tina Turner's electrifying performance lit up the land of Carnival. If you missed it, now HBO's World Stage delivers an encore presentation of Tina live from Rio, Wednesday on HBO.
Regional differences? You bet there are regional differences. Those invisible ties, those commonalities that make people look at the world a certain way. And yet, in the rarefied atmosphere of Washington, there's often an insensitivity to the unique problems of an Iowa or a New Hampshire. Just to name a couple of states off the top of my head. You think anybody's going to buy this? No.
Tanner, 88. The future is now. Paid for by the committee to elect Jack Tanner for president. On HBO.
On HBO in 88, you'll feel the winter heat wave all year long. Sizzling stars and hot new specials are going to break record highs. Look for major movies throughout the new year. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Black Widow. The Secret of My Success. Lethal Weapon. Blind Date. Little Shop of Horrors. No Mercy, and The Morning After. From HBO Pictures, for HBO viewers only, look for Leslie Ann Warren in Dan Jenkins' outrageous comedy, Baja, Oklahoma, and Chris Christopherson's in Hot Pursuit in the Out West adventure, The Tracker. HBO's Winter Heatwave is expected to bring big events like a superstar music performance by Olivia Newton-John, just part of HBO's World Stage forecast for 88. And another big event, superstar Bette Midler in Mondo Biondo.
Bravo!
This year, the live HBO Comedy Hour is going to be hotter than ever with Billy Crystal, George Carlin, Whoopi Goldberg, Robin Williams, and Martin Short. HBO's originals won't let up. First and 10, more Vietnam War stories, not necessarily the news, and Dear America. Gusts of great stand-up comedy are moving in fast for On Location. Rodney Dangerfield, Jackie Mason, and Dennis Miller. Exclusive sports are part of HBO's Winter Heatwave prediction. Grab your ringside seats when World Championship Boxing presents The King, Iron Mike Tyson. America's premier skaters will rise to new heights in a salute to Dorothy Hamill. Watch out for exclusive coverage of Wimbledon 88 this summer. With hosts Billie Jean King and Arthur Ashe, you'll see heated matches and hot winners. Movies, specials, sports, and stars. You'll feel HBO's Winter Heatwave all year long.
Welcome to the Improvisation in L.A. But it didn't always look this way. In fact, it didn't even used to be here.
For those of you who are not familiar with the Improvisation, although we've only been open 7 months here in California, in New York on 44th Street, where we're still going strong, we've been in existence, we're into our 14th year, actually.
And in 1963, club owner Bud Friedman didn't intend comedy to be his life's work. He was supposed to be a Broadway producer.
I realized after about 6 months it's a very difficult thing to do.
particularly when you have no money, no contacts, and very little taste. So I opened the Improv as a part-time temporary measure 25 years ago.
And so Hell's Kitchen lost one hole-in-the-wall Vietnamese restaurant and gained one hole-in-the-wall after-hours coffee house.
It was in the theater district, and it started out as a place for, I guess, kids after the Broadway show to come in after work and sing and relax. But after 2 years, I got a liquor license, and lo and behold, we started to get comedians hanging out. I think it was just a coincidence.
Soon, a young Broadway actor named Robert Klein tried his hand at stand-up.
Oh, he's a kid that does comedy, and he's in a Broadway show. Great.
Also impressing the club's unofficial MC.
That's where I walked in, and there was a guy tugging at his collar. Tell you something, all right? I'm a tough critic. You're brilliant, all right? You better come here. You know, I said, who's this guy? Do I call 911?
Rodney used to MC a lot, and he was just, you know, he was just a pisser. I mean, he, just like now, I mean, just crazy, wonderful, and he's truly a comic, Rodney.
Which definitely made Rodney and Klein the Improv's top bananas.
One of my boys!
If you want to put it in terms of fruit.
If you wanted to get on, you had to wait. There was no schedule, and if you walked in at 9 o'clock, and I said, oh, I'll put you on when this guy finishes, and then Bob Klein is going to walk in before the guy finishes. I'm sorry, Bob's going on. You're going to have to wait. Then if Rodney Dangerfield walked in after Bob, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer.
But it wasn't keeping a growing group of young comics from auditioning and earning the right to work the room.
I went to the Improv, hung out, and became friends with Steve Landisberg and David Brenner and Robert, and I met Klein, and they were telling me the ropes. So then I went to other clubs in Greenwich Village for 6 months, and when I came back to the Improv audition night, I had the whole room bought out. I had like 40 friends from high school and college there, so I killed. But then Bud said, okay, you're a regular, you can come back every night. And he foolishly, I was foolish, he said, come back and do the regular show. And rather than go home and celebrate, I was a regular at the Improv. I stayed for 4 hours and followed Brenner and Klein and Pryor and Dangerfield and Jimmy Walker and Steve Landisberg and Freddie Prinze. So like 4 hours earlier, I was the toast of the town, and then I learned that it wouldn't be easy. I'm glad I stayed around.
But Bud wasn't staying around. Leaving the New York Club in 1974 and going Hollywood with a brand new Improv. But it wasn't all happy endings, at least yet.
The worst night of my life was the night of fire here. I had gone out to see Bobby Short and was driving back, and I saw all the fires, and I said, oh my God, here we are. And I stood in the street and cried. We were closed down there for about 7 months. Robin Williams, who was then star of Mork and Mindy, Andy Kaufman, who was star of Taxi, both did successive nights benefits for me. I think it was $50 a ticket, which put some money in my pocket and allowed me to, you know, continue on.
And by now, the rebuilt club is the flagship, not just for a chain of Improvs, but to stand-up clubs opening everywhere.
I would say that the 283 comedy clubs in the country are direct descendants of the Improv. We were certainly the first by many, many years, and it's nice, but we get a royalty from each club, of course.
But if Bud had to pick, just who would he choose for the Improv Hall of Fame?
Improv Hall of Fame. Well, the guys that are going to be on the show, of course, are right up there with Robin Williams, Billy Crystal, Robert Klein, Rodney Dangerfield, Richard Lewis, Jay Leno, Bette Midler, Lily Tomlin, Richard Pryor, Stiller and Mira, David Brenner, Jimmy Walker. Then, unfortunately, we have the posthumous Hall of Fame, which would be Freddie Prinze and, most recently, Andy Kaufman.
As the years go by, let's wish Bud continued great success doing what he does best, being the best.